Hello, 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 everybody. Hello. If you are new to my page, I am Jamila, the IEP coach. And if you are not new, welcome back. Welcome back. I'm so happy to see you. Um, before we start, I want you to make sure you like the IEP Coach LLC page. Make sure you like this live and make sure you share it with share it on your personal pages as well. Okay. Are we live? Hold on a second. We shouldn't be live. Let me just keep going. Um, so make sure you share this with your pages. Make sure you share it with just everybody. This is going to be an interesting topic. This is the last live that I'm doing for April, which is the Autism Awareness Month. I did an interview with Sister Quasia. We talked about autism and school culture. And I did the second live with Thomasina, which was focusing on finding quality childcare for your child that has special needs, specifically autism. So I am very excited to have my guest tonight. He's been on, he's done a live with me before, and I'm very, very happy that he was available to do this to do this live, because it's great to have a male's perspective, have a father who has a child who has autism. So I'm very, very excited to speak with him again. So again, please make sure you like this live. Make sure you share it. Also, if you haven't done so already, make sure, sorry, wrong hand. Make sure you get my ebook, Master the IEP, Volume 1, A Beginner's Guide to the IEP. You can go ahead and, oops, over here. Is it over here? It's right here. No. Arm is over here in the corner. Right here. Here we go. It's over here. You can click, you can take out your phone and scan that QR code, and you can purchase your copy of Master the IEP. It is a great, great, great resource if you are a parent who is new to the IEP process. If you are a new teacher and you need to learn about the IEP process, and if you are a gen ed teacher and you just want to know how to better support your students, have a better understanding of your students that have an IEP, this resource is for you. And make sure you stay tuned, because June of 2022 is when I'm putting out Volume 2. So this is the first part, Volume 1, and then I got Volume 2 coming. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to bring my guest in, Mr. Jamil Owens. Yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome,
What's going
welcome
on?
back. How
What's
are
going
you? So happy to have you back on. It was
on?
such a great time last time.
I almost spit my coffee when you said, he had time, because it's crazy, because it is true, not to big myself up bigger than what I am, but it's crazy.
You're a busy man. You're a busy man. I said, you know what? Let me just ask. Let me ask him if he's free. But I'm
Ask
so
and you
happy.
shall receive. That's the
Yes,
thing about it. So I'm happy to be here. Once again, congratulations on your book. I got
thank
excited. I thought Clue was dropping another mixtape. You said volume 2. Oh, yo, I
You like
gotta
on
get
another
that.
one, on another one.
Another one. Like, okay, cool. Yeah.
But yes, thank you so much, Jamil. Any of you who are new to Jamil, he is the CEO of Awesomeness Inc. And
Yes.
he has a show called The Awesome Show. And I love
Yes.
how he spells it, AUSOME.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I love how he
Awesome.
spells it. So
Awesome.
before we begin, Jamil, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then tell us what your connection to autism is.
Okay. So first off, I just want to say, salute and gratitude and blessings to everybody who's practicing the Ramadan. Uh,
Thank you. Ramadan. Celebrate
observation.
Ramadan. Yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes. Though that is not my religious background, I do have friends who have that religion, and I respect it equally. So I just want to give a praise and shout out to you guys first, before we start this, because that's most important. It's always love, just love.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um,
Thank
no problem. Second of all, well, my name is Jamil Owens. I am a awesome father. I spelt the word autism, put a little twist to it. It's to give salutations and salutes to individuals, autistics themselves, and also the parents and caretakers who care for them. Very important that, when we hear the word autism or autistic, we are not frightened about it. So I softened it a little bit by just giving it a little more marketing appeal. I came out with the Ausome Show. Just want to say not so much into my background because there's a lot, but started this campaign in 2016 with a simple walk for Autism Speaks. And I just felt as a father of a child on the spectrum that there was more ground for me to cover, which resulted in the Ausome Show being an online radio platform. Doing that and really giving the blue collar to everyday individual a chance to be heard, also hear other parents, but also too, rap stars who have children on the spectrum I had on my show, therapists, doctors, clinicians of all sorts and kinds, but also parents as well. So it was very successful. Fast forward a little bit now, I'm a certified firefighter. I am an EMT student looking to get my certification very soon. I do work security as well. I'm ex-law enforcement. I am an author. I have 6 books, working on 7. They're all available on Amazon as we speak right now. And today, on the dotted line sign, the Ausome Show will now be on TV. So you could stay tuned to that. We're actually going to be on public access TV. Very, very excited about this opportunity. The first show starts next Friday. So I can't wait to get back in front of the camera and just really give people something tangible that they can watch, but also to result over to other people. So that's a little bit about me. I don't want to take up too much time for the interview, but that's a little.
Thank you. And also I have it scrolling across the screen where they can follow you on Instagram and your website. So make sure you follow Jamil. Make sure you follow the Ausome Show, Ausome Inc. Make sure you follow him, and his website is there too. So that's going to be there throughout the duration. See, I was ready.
You was ready. I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
All right. Absolutely. So now, last time we did a live. Yeah, of course we focused on your son Shane. So for people who are new to hearing about the Ausome Show and also that are new to you, can you tell them what your connection to autism is, because you do have a son.
It is. So it is my son Shane. He is 14 now. He's a teenager, grown into a young man. He is my firstborn, and he is definitely the reason why I advocate so hard for individuals that's on the spectrum. It's not the only reason, because myself, I have a medical disability. Well, not really a disability, but it is termed a medical disability called an AV fistula on my right leg. That did not hinder me, but it also taught me how strongly my mother advocated for me when I was younger against those individuals who were just fearful or afraid or didn't know how to accept my difference. So learning, going through ups and downs in life and understanding what is going on, I became familiar with advocating. It began to resonate with me, my purpose and my mission here. My purpose on this planet is to advocate for my son and those individuals like him, not just my son, but those individuals like him. My mission, though, is to speak directly to the men, the fathers, because I had a difficult time understanding autism and dealing with that understanding and that diagnosis and my feelings. And, as the years have gone on, been doing this for so long now, it has branched off to directly engaging people within my community, the Black and brown community, but the whole community, autism as a whole, but speaking directly to the brothers and sisters in these urban neighborhoods that really don't understand the blessing that they have in this child. That's the first thing. And 2, what's out there to help them? What community can they go to? Who can they seek help to? These are the things I didn't have. So I make sure I speak on a tone and a level that resonates with everybody, no matter what color, sex, religion, creed you belong to. But I definitely want to go back to my roots as a North Philly native and definitely talk to the people within my neighborhood. So yeah,
Had to give a quick whoop whoop. I'm from North
yeah.
Philly.
17th of
But yes,
Susquehanna. That's where I was. That's where I
but
grew up
yes.
at.
Well, you know what they consider? I think they consider me Nicetown because I grew up off of Erie Avenue on Marvin Street. I think they might say Nicetown
Okay.
type.
Yeah,
Not
that
North.
is that. Yeah,
Which
yeah. You
when
got.
you tell them people, they be like, "Oh, you North." I'm like, whatever,
It's
okay.
all good. It's all good.
But yeah, it's all good. And you're absolutely right. That's one of the reasons why I created my company too. Because my time teaching in Philly, I'm just like, okay, more parents need to know this process. They need to understand it and being able to navigate it. So I think that's great. The resource that you are and that you have created to support those like us from the communities that we come from, and just from the communities of our Black and Brown brothers and sisters. So now our topic is, well, you chose a topic, and I was like, oh, this is a great topic. So our topic is a Black man who is an autism father versus
Mm-hmm.
an autism father who happens to be Black. So I was
Woo!
breaking it down. I was like, man, that's a lot. I said, hold on, okay, let's break down. Let's build up to that. Okay, so
Yes.
you have your son Shane,
Mm-hmm.
African American young man. He has autism. Now, how are you preparing him to be a functional Black man in today's society on top of his needs, having on top of his autistic needs?
Well, the first thing I really implore for any individual, once again, doesn't matter what color, is to find that spiritual grounding. Very important. And that's what I teach Shane. As soon as I realize that he is understanding of the ways of this world, he may not fully understand, but he gets it. He's smart enough to understand it. He hears it. I put a Bible in his hand. So whatever that may look like to you, or the Quran, whatever book or text that you want to place in your child's hand, that is the first thing that you will want to equip that child with. The reason why is because that allows one to not be accountable by me. My son can even step to me and question me and say, well, this is not the teachings that you bestowed upon me, Dad. So, what's going on? It keeps him accountable on a higher level other than anybody else on this planet. That's the first thing. I think it's important as a Black man because we, for years, and I can contest to this through my old becomings in life, I felt like the world owed me something.
Mm.
Now, people could take that out of context. They'd be like, well, yeah, the world owed you something. What about slavery? Okay. So we could talk about that every single day. We could talk about how angry we are, the things that happened, and it was horrible. But what are we doing today to make sure that these things don't happen? I can break it down on a whole nother level, but let's talk about slavery. There are still things that are going on that commence with slavery today. Things like the 13th Amendment, things about workforces in prison, which I'm an ex-corrections officer, and I've seen it. Lower wages for prisoners to make goods for people that are outside of prison. These are things that are happening today. So where are we at slavery? Now slavery has just changed a different form. So by giving my son this Bible, it lets him understand that there's no one perfect but one person in our religion. That person loves you and even loves the enemy and commands you to love on others, even your enemy, through the times that are going to be coming in this day and age. So now I'm giving him heart, real courage, real accountability. These are all things that I'm just giving him a book and read it. Take that in, son. I need you to read these things because you're going to see daddy mad sometimes. You're going to see daddy say, I don't like this person sometimes. But you won't see that inside the book. You will only see love and compassion. And these are the things that they already have, but it reinstills it to them. Also, too, he doesn't see with color. He just sees a man, a woman, a girl, and a boy. And I want him to stay like that. I don't want to teach him what race is. We break that down even further. Race is only a multitude of understanding statistics on how different cultures live amongst each other. That's all race is. That it's just accountability form from the government. So why am I going to teach my son, oh, well, that's a white lady, that's a black lady, that's an Asian lady, when he just sees people and the beauty within those people? I want to keep that. Once again, that is inside the text. That is inside the text. It doesn't say, oh, well, this white person from Jerusalem. It says those from Jerusalem. I forget the terminology. I apologize. But Philistines. It talks about a group of people that are born from a different area, not a different color, but a different area. I want him to always have that. So to answer your question, as a black man that is repeatedly labeled in America, I revert this on my son by not telling him to label others, but to just see people for who they are. If they get a label from someone else, that's their ignorance. But he is to love on them as best as he possibly can and hold no malice towards that person, because I don't want my son stressing about things that I had to do in this world that gave me my gray hairs, that gave me my times that I cried and the times of anger. If I can prevent that, then I am creating a young man that's going to be substantially better than the president of the United States himself. And that's what I'm doing now. That's what I'm teaching him. I don't even want him to label himself as black. I want him to say, I am African American. I have ancestors who are African American and also Latino. I am a cultural mix from the Caribbean islands, but I reside in America. That's how I would love my son to see himself. Where are you from? Ask these questions. I would love to go there. I would love to experience your culture and your food and see how you interact with other people. That's what I'm teaching my son to do right now. And it all starts with the spiritual grounding. And that's where we begin to really hold not only our children accountable, but ourselves accountable to stay on the straight edge so they can understand.
All right. I do have a question for that. So with everything going on in society today, how some of us are viewed first for our color, not that we are, I'm a woman, you're a man. How are you preparing your son to navigate that when he comes across that person or those people who not just going to look at him and say, you know what? Oh, okay, I think he has autism, and just look at him. Oh, that's a black kid.
I honestly haven't experienced that yet. And I have to say, not on the negligence of me or his mother, or you can't claim that my son is naive to it. It's just that he's so focused in his own world. Once again, he just dodging, just stiff arming any type of negativity that'll come his way. But I can say when that time does come, it will be a man-to-man conversation in which I will tell him and express to him the harshness of the words, where these words derive from. If I can take a historical background and apply it to these words so he can tangibly say, oh, okay, so in this era and this time, this was something that came about. So I'm not only telling him, oh, that person is wrong, but I'm educating him at the same time about the origin of this word. If I could find the original meaning where it actually came from and how a man twisted it to put it towards a deceitful tone or manner, then that's what I'm going to do. I don't want to be put in that situation, but I know it's going to happen. I think the best things that we can do is to engage in these moments head on with the first thing of compassion. I'm sorry, son. I'm sorry if it's a girl, baby girl. I'm sorry that this happened to you. People out here are afraid of things that they don't understand. And you as a person are entity they don't understand. That's what happened when you go to these clubs and these bars or mingling events. You don't know the other person, but you walk up to them to greet. but some people don't want to do this. Now, the words that they actually phrase to you, this is where it's coming from. That's how I'm going to interact with my son. I know it will be. I know it will come. My hopes, once again, is that my son hears it, and he may not really fully compilate the severity of it, but says, okay, and says, I love you anyway, and be on his way. I'm hoping for that. So, I just keep it real and keep it 100 with you. I haven't been in that situation yet, but I know it's coming. Mm-hmm. I know it's coming. And I have full faith in Shane, knowing that he will handle it. And not only that, because we're coming into a time that mental health is becoming more and more of a severity thing, especially for our young children, that he'll say, hey, Dad, I'm a little sad about something. Can I talk to you about this? Or someone hurt my feelings. And we don't like to hear that, but be willing to listen and be like, okay, first I apologize for that person. That's my take. That's how I would actually interact with that.
Okay. And just one more question in regards to that. Now, do you feel that there are certain things you need to tell your son if he is stopped by certain people? If he's stopped by police, or if he's stopped by someone asking him or questioning him or anything like that, do you feel that there is a certain steps that he should take in regards to protecting himself?
So, as being a father, an autism father, Ausome Father, who have trained a couple of police departments in my area, I can tell you that me personally, and this is during our rides to school and from school, I tell him, police officer, if a police officer asks you something, you always use ma'am and sir. We can go back to the 1960s when this was proper etiquette when addressing any individual. So this is not something that's new or something that should be laughed at or shunned away. Ma'am or sir, I am on the autism spectrum. First thing he should say, I'm on the autism spectrum. And if he has one of the cards, which I do have, and I've shown a couple of times, identifying that he is on the spectrum and emergency contact with some indicators on what that officer should do. At that time, I feel as though that my son has fully cooperated with that officer by displaying that. The reason why I say that is going to the law enforcement side. When in some of my previous trainings and also my previous actions, going into a facility or a building, what's the first thing you hear? You hear it on police shows. Police, open up, identifying yourself. Who are you? In certain situations, this won't really matter, but you always want to identify yourself. The cop comes up to your car. Maybe you're driving. Excuse me, sir, ma'am. Do you know why I stopped you? No, officer. Can I see your license and registration? He is asking for you to identify yourself. So what if we actually had our children identify themselves as not saying, hey, I'm just autistic, but saying, hey, sir, ma'am, I am on the spectrum and I need further assistance to help you out to make this communication as seamless as possible. So I tell them that. If the officer tells you to do something, do it. If you feel as though it's something that's wrong, it's freedom of speech. You can say, well, officer, I don't feel comfortable with that. You saying that is not saying that you're not complying. It's just saying that you feel uncomfortable with that. They have cameras on. They're able to catch that. That could come down later on. But you are to comply with the officer at that time. Why is that? Why is that, Jay? Why am I going to let my child do that? Especially in today's world where there's officers out there beating up on children who are on the spectrum. Is because we are now transferring the liability from our children to that officer. Our children has identified themselves. They're using non-vulgatory voicing or language, sir, ma'am, and they're letting you know what's uncomfortable for them. What is one of the things that our children, our beautiful children, have a problem with? Sensory issues. So they are now telling you again, hey, I'm on a spectrum and I am uncomfortable with this. Can you help me out? Now it's back on the police officer. And that goes into proper training. The cops, first responders, I'm sorry, being a first responder is not a lot of training. Are they getting better? Yes, they are. It's a hell of a more work that needs to go into play. It's a hell of a work, but we also have to put 50% of that liability on the parents as well. Beautiful question you asked me. What are you telling your son? Like police officers, I'm telling him to cooperate because at the end of the day, I want my son to live. I don't want to get a call saying my son was fatally shot because he tried to run away. And in my mind, I'm like, only if I would have taught him to cooperate and to stay still for the officer, he would be alive.
Okay. And thank you for that. I do think more parents, I know some parents actually take their child to the police station so they can just be familiar, not be afraid, to introduce the police squad to their child so they can put a face with the name, so they're just familiar. But I do definitely feel that not just even with first responders, I feel like it's in a lot of industries. People need to have training with how to deal with someone who's on the spectrum, or just someone who may be in an emotionally charged situation, learning how to respond to them. Like, because there was an incident in Target with a boy going to, he's trying to spend his money, and his sister told the guy, my brother has needs, like he's fine, he has needs. And that just escalated to such a bigger issue. And I'm just like, had you just asked him, can I help you? Or listen to the sister, or even ask the sister, okay, how can I help? That situation would have been so different. We definitely need more training in all industries.
It's amazing that we have to come to this area where parents are telling these billion-dollar box stores, these companies who make a notion to take care of their employees and take care of their families, but yet do not understand the sensitivity training that is needed in cases like this to make sure that A, these employees keep their employment, but B, also that they are really servicing everybody on this planet. Because if you look at the numbers right now for autism prevalence, it's going up. It's not going anywhere. This is not something that is going to disappear. It is going up. There are more children that are being diagnosed today, these past 2 years, than any of the years in U.S. history today. And that comes with some ignorance, because back in the day, doctors didn't put a name to it. They were just like, oh, well, I hate this word and I'm sorry for using it. He's retarded. He or she is retarded. Well, what is retarded?
That's what was used.
I think, once again, yes, these stores, these corporations, they do need training. And the first responders definitely do need training. And for those first responders that are doing the training, kudos to you, but there needs to be more. I'm more worried about the first responders. The reason why is because they are out here in the real world. Companies and corporations can control their world within inside their walls. But when it comes down to our children driving, our children taking public transportation, how are we incorporating the training to help them? But once again, it goes to the fact that we have to make sure that our children are not labeled, but they are identifying themselves. It's funny. It mind boggles me. And because there's so many parents that are like, oh, I don't want my child to say that he's on the spectrum. Why wouldn't you? Let me ask you that. Why wouldn't you? In society where we want children to be you, do you,
advocate for themselves.
Exactly. Why can they not understand who they are as a person and why they are amazing who they are? That's a problem with you. And trust me, I can say that with all compassion and love, because I had that problem too. And I don't label Shane. I let him talk to a person I let him from far away. I will just watch him talk, 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 talk. And if the conversation goes sideways, I use that key term that all of our awesome parents understand. I redirect them, and I let the individual know, this is my son Shane, and I leave it at that. But he'll still conversate with them. People make that such a priority that they are hindering the growth of their child, which later on turns into adult, which they need to be fully functional.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. So is your experience, do you feel that your experience raising Shane, being an awesome father and he's an awesome kid, do you feel that your experience is different because the both of you are Black in comparison to his white peers?
I think so me and you, we have a relationship where we know each other, and I don't beat around the bush, and I say things not to offend people, but to keep it real. This is the reason why I'm where I'm at today as far as my platform. But I think we are a product of our own environment, saying that as a Black man who is in the community and I'm advocating and I'm like, listen, more voices need to be heard. I'm being met by my peers of the same community that are saying, I think that is limiting us as African Americans in urban communities to really speak up more, is because we are worried about the backlash that we'll get by doing this. And I get it, because once again, I've been there before. I was not all the way, I wasn't an advocate throughout the entire years of my son's growth. I just started back in 2016 being an advocate for my son. And now I try to uplift other men to speak out for their household, for their community, for the community worldwide. But I think we are crippling ourselves because we are afraid of what others may think or what those labels might be or entail. We have to stop that. We have to stop being the demise of our own people. Some people will like that message. Other people will be like, yo, this bull don't know what he's talking about. But I do. You cannot tell me that I don't, because I've experienced it. I've experienced every type of racial antidote that could be given, not only to me, but to me and my son as we are together. But at the same time, I've experienced the blissness of being able to speak and have my son right there and hear me talking about him and how amazing that he is. We need to stop being our own poison. And that goes for more than autism. That goes for education. That goes for inclusion. That goes for everything. Crime, drugs. We need to stop. We have to. But you might say, well, where do we start at? You start at your homes. I'm talking to the men now. No disrespect to the ladies, but it starts at your home. If you claim to be head of household on your taxes, king of the house when you walk inside the house, first plate at dinner time, then you need to start acting like it, and you need to start advocating for your child. Get your home in line. As far as what I mean in line is everybody is loved, not neglected, and they are poured into, and then start working outwards to your community. That's how we do it. One person at a time. I'm only a father with a GED, never went to college, dropped out of school due to family issues and early on in my life. Look what I'm doing right now. Look what I'm doing right now. It's time to tighten up, pull your pants up, get your big boy pants on, and really go out there. Let's stop poisoning our stuff. My Black and brown people, let's stop doing that. Let's start forming together to build up not only our culture, but other cultures. Be inviting. This is what the autism community is about. I will spend more time and more of my strength making sure that no negativity comes into the autism community than in the world, because I see the love and the prosperity in this, and I know we can affect others with it.
Absolutely. You dropped some things there where you said we have to stop being our own poison and being our own demise. And that is the case. And, in some circumstances where it's like, I'm too, and it could be some things of, okay, I feel ashamed, or it could be, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to say. But then, you do have some where it's like, oh, let's just be quiet about that. We don't need to, share. And some are just in denial. It's nothing wrong. We're
Mm-mm.
fine. He's
Mm-hmm.
fine. She's fine. It's nothing wrong. And it's not until they get older, they get bigger. And then it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you have no control at all, and now you're like, oh my God, I need help. I need this, I need that. And it's like, we wasted so much time
Mm-hmm.
where we could have gotten started a little earlier. We could have gotten some resources earlier to better support you, and to better support your kid.
Fact.
So yes, yes, absolutely. All right. So here we go to this title. So what does it mean? Because when you gave me the title, I'm like, this is deep. Okay. So what is the difference? Like, is there a difference? A black man who is an autism father versus an autism father who happens to be black? Can you break that down for the people?
So when I gave you that title, I actually took it from an episode I did on my platform where we spoke to one of my close friends who's like my brother. He's actually a pastor, and I said, what does it mean to be a black man who's a Christian versus a Christian who happens to be black?
Mm,
And I took that question and was like, I'm gonna put it towards autism. And this is my answer. First off, when you read that, if you instantly went to one side versus the other, you already failed. The reason why is because we as men are always directional. We're tunnel vision towards something, whether it's one or another. We can never see it three-dimensional or size up the scene as we use in law enforcement. This, I definitely need you to size up. I need you to look at all variables here and now and in the future. Being a black man who is an autism father means that you are more powerful than anything in this world. The reason being is because you are going to learn and you are going to give parts of you that have been jaded by society and problems that you have dealt with in your life. This means that you are now elevating to a higher level, whereas though matters of this world cannot affect you. That is a black man who is an autism father. You have been repressed, you have been oppressed, but you don't have to stay there. There are so many different things you can do. And now you throw autism in the mix with these beautiful children who wants love, who wants to give love, who wants to show you how to love. You are in a key position to be the best man that you have been in your entire life at that moment. Now, an autism father who happens to be black, this is the negative mindset that you are still in that negative realm of life, hating everybody, blaming other people for the circumstances, letting someone's color, also title or family upbringing, demise you to make you feel like you are not enough. That is an autism father who happens to be black, because once again, they do not understand or realize the strength that they have inside of them. Funny, when we have our children that are on the spectrum, we're constantly trying to encourage them to be the best and be fearless regardless. But yet we cannot take the same advice when it comes down to us. You are an autism father who happens to be black. You're not doing anything to help not only your child, yourself, your family, but the community in a whole. So if you wanted to tunnel in this question right now, which side do you want to be in? Do you want to be a black man who is an autism father, or do you want to be an autism father who happens to be black? And this is the reason why I chose this. One is a positive, one is a negative. And once again, people may like this or people may not. They'd be like, oh man, you can't say that about black people. You can't say this. I'm not saying it about it. I'm saying it about men. What do you want to be? Do you want to just be a person who feels sorry for himself because of his child with special abilities? Or do you want to be a light in that child's life and other people's life to make sure that that child sees and be like, hey, you know what? My dad did this to make sure that he communicated with all types of people. I can do this too. I can be outgoing just like him. What do you want to be?
Mm. Jamil just dropped the mic on that one.
Nah.
Oh, but no, I really
Listen,
enjoyed.
I sit
Yeah.
here with my little small brain, and I just be thinking of things so much, and I try to, once again, like these are just things that I'm leaving. This is my paper trail of my life. So when people, when my time comes and they go through my obituary, it, hey, listen, go online. That's why it says Google my name. That's it, and you'll see everything. But people will hopefully see where I've been, which a lot of people know where I've been and where I'm at right now and where I'm trying to go. And I'm trying to take other people with me. No man left behind. You know what I mean? It's a military slogan, no man or no woman left behind. I'm trying to take everybody with me. And I'm not the best and I'm not the holy one. But what I'm making sure is that if I can elevate you to the holy one and leave me down, holding you up, I done my job.
Mm. Okay. Thank you so much for that. So one quick question. So,
Yeah.
um, I truly appreciate the perspective that you bring. Being a father, and I'll say being an involved father of a child who has autism, and I mean no shade to any person, but and I don't mean any shade to any of the dads. It's just normally when dealing with a child that has special needs, it's always the mom
Yeah.
who's going to the meetings, is always the mom who is figuring out what to do, is always the mom who's trying to figure out what resources are out there, what can I do. Again, she's coming to all the IEP meetings. Majority of the time she's the contact person,
Yep.
and that's
Been there.
it. So the fact that you are a father, and that's what I meant, involved, you know your son's place, you know his programming, you know who his providers are, who he's getting support from. It's very important to know that, um and to bring that perspective. And it's different for me. Like, yes, I can come on and say, oh my, and not bashing dads, and this is not what that is,
Mm-hmm.
but I can come on and say, oh my God, we need to have da 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 da. It's different having a man say that
Yeah.
to a man. It's
Yeah.
different. It's
Yeah.
very different because it's going to hit different. Because I'm
Yep.
not a man. I don't know. I don't know what that life is like. I don't know what that experience is. And then being a black man of a child with autism, I don't know that life, and I can't
Mm-hmm.
speak to it. So to have you come on and to give that perspective and to share what you have shared your experience, and also call out someone who may not be. Hey, they could, like you said, they could be ashamed, they could be scared, but at the end of the day, this is your kid, this is your
Mm-hmm.
child, this
Yep.
is this is an extension of you, and it's like
Yep.
you're gonna have to, all right, give yourself a moment. If perhaps, you know
Oh yeah.
what, all the you may have had a certain set of expectations and dreams you may have wanted for your kid, and it's like you don't give them up. They just gonna they're gonna be altered. They're gonna be different. You're gonna have different dreams and goals and expectations for your kid. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean you just give up on goals or whatever. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, at the end of the day, you're still a parent of that child. You're still that advocate for that child, because if you're not going to advocate for your kid, it's like, who in this world will?
When this world will. Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
in this world will? And are you going to leave your child out there alone with nobody to fight for them? Because you can't trust that every teacher is going to love your child enough to fight and
Fact.
advocate as much as we need to, for our children, especially our black and brown children.
Yep. Yep.
So yes,
Fact.
I greatly greatly appreciate you sharing that. Do you have any closing remarks you would like to share?
I just remember it's a quote. I can't remember the gentleman that said it, but it's a quote, and I've been chewing on this because I see it and it's so true. This individual said, "Knowledge um, is not knowledge only lasts until new knowledge is gained." So We can know something this week. Next week, they come out with more studies. And what we know is obsolete. We
Mm-hmm.
see it every single day. But the truth is everlasting.
Mm-hmm.
So think
Absolutely.
about that.
Mm.
Knowledge always can be replaced, but the truth is everlasting.
Mm-hmm.
What is the truth to you?
Mm.
What are you believing in? What are you believing in yourself? What do you know about yourself? Truthfully, who are you as a man? Are you still a boy or are you a man? That's your truth. Your knowledge, what you get out in these streets. Oh, you know what? I seen some other dude take a girl out. I could take a girl out like that. Oh, he went here to go get his shoes. I'm going to go there to get my shoes. That's knowledge. You're learning every single day, but it changes the next week. Find your truth first before you go thinking that you are knowledgeable in everything else. That's a
Mm.
lot to unpack. That's some time in the closet and really looking at it oneself and saying, okay, I got some work to do, you know, and get started on that work. So that's where I dropped the mic at, and definitely, all other things, plugs, shameless plugs, my book, the show. I'm very excited to bring the Awesome Show back now as a visual because now people can understand how crazy and goofy I am, but how passionate I am about just the autism community and what it stands for in my life and uplifting other people to say, hey, I'm not going to be silent anymore. I'm going to do something. So I'm very excited about that. Please check us out. The platforms down below, check us all out. And I encourage any men to contact me directly via email, social media, whatever the case, telephone number, even call me directly. And if you need to talk or you need to understand how this is going to go, unpacking autism, how awesome your child is, I will be there to walk with you every single day. And I swear to God about that. Let's get this done. You are not alone. And I love you all. That's it.
All right. So as you can see, Jamil's information is scrolling below. So do follow him. He got back to me so quick. Because that's because he wasn't busy. He wasn't busy, but he's very responsive. So definitely reach out. Definitely reach out to him. Definitely support him. Support his show. Purchase his books. You can go follow him on Instagram at the Awesome Show at Awesomeness Inc. Also the www.theawesomeshow.com. Now will Shane be on some of those episodes with you?
I'm hoping, my man got a busy schedule. He's sitting there
Oh,
trying to
seriously?
graduate.
How old is he now?
He's 14. He's trying to
Wow.
graduate. He's graduating 8th grade, going into
Oh,
ninth grade, straight A and B student since 3rd grade. So he's very
okay.
busy grinding it out. So I would love to have him like I did have him when I was on online radio. I would love to have him on the show. So we'll see. But once again, as long as he knows his daddy is out here in the trenches fighting for him and fighting for individuals like him, I know he'll be happy. I know he'll sit there and just be like, yeah, you know what? That's my dad right there. So I hope so. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So thank you so much, Jamil, for coming on. Again, follow Jamil on Instagram at
Get
The
her book.
Awesome Show.
There you go. Get her
Where
book.
we go? We over here? We're right here. Here we
Yeah,
go.
right there. Right there.
Now,
There you
before
go.
we go, make sure scan my QR code
I got my
right
phone right now.
here.
I got my phone right
Scan
there.
my
Let's
QR
scan that.
code.
Scan that.
It'll take you right to purchase my volume 1 of Master the IEP, a beginner's guide to the IEP. And please, when you go to the sales page, I have my testimonials are already there. I'm telling you, okay? I don't just do this to do this. I do this because I love it and because I want to help people. I want you to have the knowledge. So when you go on these IEP meetings, when
Yep.
you get that document, can't nobody just tell you whatever. Can't nobody just say, "Oh
Exactly.
yeah, it's in there." You can say, "No, it's not." No, it's not, because the IEP coach told me I'm supposed to have this. We're supposed to do this. When you just feel much more confident when you go in to these IEP meetings and when you request things for your kid. It's
Yep.
all about knowledge so that you can better advocate for your child. Okay?
Yep.
Definitely do that. Definitely go. And I'm just gonna put mine at the bottom real quick. There's my link tree. Follow me. Go ahead. It's gonna
Follow.
take you. It's gonna take you. It's gonna take you to the book. It's gonna take you to my course. It's gonna take you to everything that I'm doing and all of my platforms as well. Okay.
There you
So
go.
thank you so much, and also just stay tuned to see what we're doing next month for our lives. Okay. So stay tuned. And again, share this live.
Share it.
Share it.
Share
Share
it.
it. Share it. And everyone have a good night.